Daf Nun Ches Amud Beis 58b, and the Mishnah had said that when the Kohen Gadol comes out after spritzing the blood on the towards the Paroches, the curtain, and he would do that between the Mizbeach and the curtain. He would come to the outer side, which is the he'd come into the Beis Hamikdash from the east to the west, and now he's coming back from the west to the east to the eastern side of the Mizbeach, and there he would put the blood on the four corners and then spritz it on the surface. There's putting the blood on the four corners of the Mizbeach. There, the Brisa has two versions of where it would start and where it would end. And the Gemara asks, what's the basis of machlokes between Rabbi Akiva and of the opinion of Rabbi Yosef Galili? So Rabbi Akiva says that he would start at the south eastern side, go to southwest, northwest, and northeast. And Rabbi Yosef Galili would say the opposite way around. And so the Gemara asks, what's the basis for this machlokes? And the Gemara first wants to learn, does Rabbi Akiva not hold of the idea, which is said in by the outer Mizbeach, that there's an obligation to always go to the right, meaning counterclockwise, because you start off and then you go to the next one on the right. So why is he not going counterclockwise, which is the way we learn? And so the Gemara says that the difference is whether or not he holds of the idea inside the Beis Hamikdash, just as by the outer Mizbeach or the outside of the Beis Hamikdash. By the outside of Beis Hamikdash, of course, he agrees to the concept that Kalpina shot the plane every turn that you turn, you're going to turn to the right, meaning that he's going to move counterclockwise. And in the outside Mizbeach, of course, he's going to come up the right side of the ramp and turn to the right and go around counterclockwise. By the inside Mizbeach, perhaps not. That's what the Gemara suggests. And now the Gemara asks, and this is 5 lines from the bottom of Nun Ches Amud Beis. Rabbi Akiva nihida lo yalef pnim michutz. Well, even if Rabbi Akiva does not say that you have to compare the inner Mizbeach from the outer Mizbeach, if he wants, he can do it this way, or if he wants, he can do it the other way. Why is he saying that specifically he has to start by the southeastern side and go to the southwestern side and essentially do it clockwise? If there's no comparison to the outer Mizbeach that it has to be done counterclockwise, turning to the right, so let him do whichever way he wants. Amachar Rabbi Akiva, so Rabbi Akiva would say, Medina Bahu Karen the Paga Beresha, Bahu Ovid Beresha. The corner that he comes to first is really the one he should do first, because we have a general rule, that if you have a mitzvah to do, and then you encounter that mitzvah by coming up to it, you can't pass over it in order to get to another mitzvah. You always have to start with the mitzvah that you encounter. So, the Amar Rish Lakish, Avir Nal mitzvahs, that you can't pass a mitzvah. So he's coming from the west, which is the curtain and the southern opening of the curtain from the Kodesh HaKadoshim. He comes to the front and he spritzes towards the curtain, and then he's coming out. So he's coming out between the menorah and the Mizbeach, meaning the southern side of the Mizbeach. So he's encountering the southwestern side of the Mizbeach first. Okay, the southwest of the Mizbeach is what he encounters first. So really, that's the one he should put on the dam of the karbanos. You should put it on there first. Why does he not? And so why does he not put it on there? Because it says he will go out. As we saw yesterday, go out to the Mizbeach, meaning he will pass the Mizbeach and come into the open area on the on the western side of the room, on the western side of the Mizbeach. But he has already passed the southwestern side, coming out to the southeastern side, and he's going to put it on the southeast first. But then he's got to go to the one he encountered, and which is going from the southwest, the east to the southwest. So he has to go entirely past the Mizbeach. Once he put it on to that corner, the southeastern side, which is the second corner he encounters, but now he's completely past the Mizbeach. Now he comes back to put it on the one that he was first obligated to put it on, and that's really why he's doing it according to Rabbi Akiva in this manner. So essentially, according to Rabbi Akiva, it's not the direction that he's going, but which corners he's obligated. He's first obligated in the corner that he encounters first, which is the southwestern side, coming from west to east along the southern side of the Mizbeach. He's going to encounter the southwest first, and then he's going to encounter the southeast. Put it on the southeast because then he's finally past the Mizbeach and come back to the one that he's obligated. So once he's doing southwest, southeast, and then southwest, he's going to come up the western side and come around that way. So that's why he's doing a clockwise rotation. Now we're on Nun Tes Amud Aleph 59a, or perhaps we can give a different explanation. That indeed, Rabbi Akiva would agree that just like by the outer Mizbeach, where you walk up, the outer Mizbeach is enormous, 32 amas, so if he walks up and the ramp, and then he's going to walk around, it's going to be you have to go to the right. You have to always turn to the right, and essentially that's going to be counterclockwise. However, but who says that you have to go around? As we saw yesterday, in the Mishnah, we have the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer, who says that he would stand in his place and he would just lean over the Mizbeach, because after all, the Mizbeach is 2 amas high, which is about 3 feet or more, right? And it's only 1 amma by 1 amma square, which is about 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet, maybe a little more. So he can lean over and get all 4 corners. So if he's moving around the Mizbeach, so indeed, since he's walking around, he would have to go to the right. But if he's standing stationary and he's just putting it on the corners, so then he could do it even clockwise. There's no obligation to turn to the right. Everybody would agree you learn from the inside from the outside, and just like by the outside in this back, you have to turn to the right. So too, inside you have to turn to the right. But here, the base of machlokes something else. One is of the opinion that you would have to stand in one place and just use your hand to go around the mizbeach, while the other says, you actually have to walk around the mizbeach. So if you have to walk around, great. But if you don't have to walk around, then perhaps there's no obligation to go towards the right. If you want, we can give you another explanation of the machlokes Rabbi Akiva. The kuli almei kafa biyad. Everybody would agree that you remain in one place and you just move your hand around. And everybody agrees you stand in one place, you move your hand around. The question is just that if we say, when you walk around, you have to move to the right, do you also have to move your hand to the right in order to put blood on the 4 corners? So Gemara says, wait, you can't say that. Can you really say Rabbi Yossi Aglili, who disagreed with Rabbi Akiva, is saying that you don't have to walk around, you're just stationary and just stand in one place? V'savar Rabbi Yossi Haglili, does Rabbi Yossi Haglili hold Hakafa Biyad that the Kohen Gadol would stand in one place and just smear all around by leaning over? V'amediktani Sefer, we learned at the end, Rabbi Eliezer Omer, V'mkoy Me'aya Omer, Umachate. At the end of the Mishnah, we saw yesterday that Rabbi Eliezer is the one who says that he stands in one place and smears the blood on the Mizbeach. Which tells us that the Tanakama, the first opinion of the Mishnah, did not hold of that and did not say that you're going to stand stationary and move your hand around, but rather you're actually going to walk around. Of course, this answer does not work well. You cannot say that everybody agrees it was stationary. The question is just whether, even when stationary, moving your hand around, you have to follow the moving to the right rule or not. No, we can't say that because Rabbi Tzvi Fischer for sure holds that you have to walk around. So rather, one of the first answers is going to be a better answer. We're going to have to say that Rabbi Akiva is of the opinion you can stand stationary and move it around, and the Chacham and the Rabbi Tzvi says you actually walk around. And the basis of machlekes is this: or rather, the machlekes is how do we look at the mizbeach? Do we look at the altar and say, look, the altar here is only 1 amma by 1 amma. The altar, the outside, is 32 amma. But so what? It's all the same. Wherever you go around the mizbeach, regardless of whether it's enormous or small, you have to go towards the right. The Umar Savar, the other opinion says, no, kula mizbeach pnimi, the entirety of the inner mizbeach is the size of the one corner of the mizbeach or the outer mizbeach. Because the outer mizbeach was 32 ammas by 32 ammas, but in each corner there was a 1 amma square, actually a cube, as a corner of the mizbeach. So the entirety of the inner mizbeach, the golden mizbeach that we're talking about right now, in the putting the blood on the outside, on the corners of the mizbeach, is the inside mizbeach, which is a 1 amma by 1 amma square. The size of the corner of one corner. The whole mizbeach inside is the size of the one corner of the mizbeach on the outside. So if you're telling me that you have to go around the outside, of course, but the inside, there is no around. You're at one corner. It's the entirety of one corner. The entire inside mizbeach is the size and represents the one corner of the outer mizbeach. And so if the outer mizbeach, you don't have to walk around each corner, you just get to a corner and spritz there. So to over here, you don't have to walk around, specifically the rule of walking around right to left on the outer mizbeach. On the inner mizbeach, it is just a corner itself. Tanya, so we have a brisa that teaches. Amar Rabbi Yishmael. Rabbi Yishmael said, "Shnei kahanim gedolim nishtayru b'mikdash." There were, after the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, there were 2 kahanim that remained, 2 high priests, 2 kahanim gedolim that remained alive after the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, and they reported about what they did. Ze omer biyadi hakafti. This one says, it was with my hand that I went around the mizbeach. I stood stationary and just smeared all around. And the other said, I actually walked around. And each one gave an explanation for their reason. The one who walked around said, look, just like the outer mizbeach, you have to walk around, so do the inner mizbeach, you have to walk around. And this one explained Kula Mizbeach Pnimi, the entirety of the inner Mizbeach, in its entirety is only the size and the space of the one outer corner, so you don't have to walk around So you have multiple reasons for this machlokes, but ultimately, based on this machlokes, Rabbi Kiva says that at least in the second explanation, Rabbi Kiva says when he shmears around the mizbeach, he's going to be doing it counterclockwise, starting at the southeastern corner, and Rabbi Yisrael Glili says you start at the northeastern corner, and you go counterclockwise. The Mishnah further said, Rabbi Eliezer would stand in one place, and he would spritz the blood on that one. Masnisa man. So whose opinion is our Mishnah? Rabbi Yehudi, this is the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, the Tanya Rameya Eimer, because even in the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer, there are two opinions as to what Rabbi Eliezer's opinion was. Rabbi Meir Eimer, because Rabbi Meir would say, Rabbi Eliezer Eimer, that you know what the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer was? Where he stood in his place and he would spritz or put the blood on the four corners. And each one of the corners that he would put it up, he would do it from the top and smear it downward. Chutz, besides for the one corner that was closest to his right hand, the one that was farthest from his right hand. Besides for the one that's farthest from his right hand, which is on the diagonal, which he would do from down upward. So he would smear from the top down on the northeastern corner and the northwestern corner. Also on the south eastern corner, because those are all close to him. He would go from top downward. However, the far corner, which is the diagonal, which is the southwest, which is diagonal from his right hand, so there he would have to reach over to go downward. He's more likely to get himself dirty, so he would put the blood at the bottom and pull his hand upward. That's the way Rabbi Meir said. But our Mishnah doesn't say that. Our Mishnah says that he would do from down upward, besides for the one corner which is on his right, which is where his right hand was. So that must be the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. Look, Rabbi Yehuda Eimer, and Rabbi Yehuda says that Rabbi Eliezer Eimer, that the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer is not so. It's not that all of them went from up downward, besides for the one that's diagonally across, that he went from down upward, rather the other way around. He stood in one place, he would spritz or smear the blood, and all of them he did from down upward. Chutz mizu besides for the one that's closest to his right hand, which is the northeastern corner. They would go from up downward. So that his garment, not those new, fresh, white linen garments, not become dirty.
Maybe pretty careful with all this level.
And ash.
And ash.
Yeah. Two items that are likely to stain: blood and ash. I mean, he was working hard to maintain, and not just that, he's spritzing the blood. And he's maintaining the clean garment. Yeah. Definitely not easy. And then the Mishnah says that he would hiza al tare shel mizbeach. He would spritz on the purity of the mizbeach. What is the purity of the mizbeach? What does the tahara shel mizbeach mean? My tahara shel mizbeach. My tahara. Amar Rabbi Bar Shela palgid mizbeach. So Rabbi Bar Shela suggests, you know what it means? It means the midpoint of the mizbeach, because tahar is used in purity as a word for which means purity. The purity of the mid of something, at the center point. Like people would say that the midday came and they would call it Tohar. People say Tahar the purity pure, and midday has come. So that's the center point, the purest point. Mesavik. So the Gemara challenges that and says, can you really say that over here he would spritz on the center of that mizbeach? Mesavik, because the Brisa says, when he spritzes, he would not spritz on the ash nor the coals that are on the mizbeach. Now this 1 amma by 1 amma mizbeach, or a foot and a half mizbeach, had coals on there that the kedaris would go on it. So it had ash and coal. So you can't spritz to the center of the mizbeach, but there actually would be ash and coal there. Must be, and the Brisa said rather he moves coals away and he spritzes. So what does it mean? Rather, what it means is the purity means on the uncovered mizbeach, that he has to clean away the surface, the wipe away and make space so that he's spritzing directly on the golden cover and not the top, and not on shmutz kedachsir, as it says the pasuk, like the heavens themselves in its purity. So we see pure as clean, a cloudless blue sky. Right? That's a pure, that kind of purity. So something in this bath has to be neat and clean and spritz on an open, clean space. Tanya, we have a brisa that says the Hananya Emer. Hananya is of the opinion, but Sad Safayni Unaise, that which part of the mizbeach would he spritz on? The northern side. So he's on the east of the mizbeach, having put blood on the 4 corners. He now is going to spritz on the top of the mizbeach, but he would do it on the northern side, which is where his right hand is, and on the side of the shulchan. Rabbi Yossi says no, he actually would spritz to the southern side on the top of the surface. What's the basis of this machlokes? One says that the opening was on the southern side. And one says that the opening was on the northern side. Meaning the curtain to the Holy of Holies, the Kodesh HaKadosh. So let's begin our just for orientation again, how he would come into the Beis HaMikdash. Coming in up the stairs and into the Beis HaMikdash itself, he'd be walking in east to west. And we saw machlokes, does he then go to the north, which is his right side, to enter the Kodesh HaKadoshim from the north? Or no, the curtain, there was a double curtain, and the curtain was on the outer curtain opened on the southern side, and he would walk to his left on the southern side to open to the southern opening. When coming out, you're going to have the same thing. He's either coming from the southern curtain, from the southern side, the opening through the curtain, and coming along the southern side of the mizbeach. So he'd be standing on the southern side of the mizbeach, southeast of the mizbeach when he comes past it. So he's spritzing right there at the southeast, and according to the other opinion, he's coming from the north. So he's actually going to be the northeastern side of the mizbeach. That's when he's coming out, which way he's coming, and that's the machlokes. So Rabbi Yossi is of the opinion that the northern side is where the opening is, and therefore he's going to spritz, and he's going to be standing on the north side when he puts the 4 the four corners, and he's going to come around and he's going to end up at the southern side. So that's where he's going to spritz. And the Tanakama, he was of the opinion, Hanania is of the opinion that he's coming from the southern side. And he's beginning, like Rabbi Akiva said, southeast. Then he's going to go to southwest. Then up to the south, to the northwest, northeast. He ends up going the four corners. He's going to end up on the north. He's going to spritz on the north side. The Kollel the government the Koronis Hasam Yavalga. But everybody agrees, whichever way he started, he would end up at the other corner. If he started in the northeast, he's going to end up at the southeast. Or according to Rabbi Akiva, he started in the southeast, he's going to end up in the northeast. Wherever he ends, that's the side of the Mizbeach he's going to spritz on top of. My time, what's the reason? Oh my God, it says in the Pasuk, the Tiareve kitchen. It says he would purify and sanctify. Makan shekitche sham tiare. The place of the sanctification is the place of the purification. That's where he's going to spritz on top of his bath, the place where he completed his purification, the sanctification, the putting it on the mizbeach. The idea is that the machlokas is where the opening to the base kachek gadashim is. Based on that is which side he's going to come out, and based on that is where he's going to start the putting the four corners around, and he's going to end up at the other end of the mizbeach, and that's where he's going to spritz on top. The remainder of the blood that's left in the basin, he's going to bring out and pour on the base of the outer mizbeach. So again, let's reorient his exit from the base of Mikdash. He's coming from west to east, coming down the stairs from the Beis Hamikdash to the courtyard, and to the so he's facing east. To his right is the south, and there's the huge, enormous altar, named Mizbeach, being 32 by 32, let's say 50 by 50 feet, an enormous Mizbeach. And he's as he gets down to the floor of the down the 12 stairs to the floor of the Azara, he encounters the western side of the Mizbeach, and on it is the base, and beneath it is the base. So he's going to encounter the base of the western side of the Mizbeach. So that's where he's going to put it. The Amar Kra says a positive as kol dam par yishbrech, all the remaining blood of the bully will pour. And when he comes out from the base Mikdash, that's what he's going to encounter first. Now the Mishnah had said, once it's telling us where he pours the leftover of the blood from this carbon, it says, and any carbon that's obligated in pouring the remainder, which is the sin offering of a normal sin offering of Bnei Yisrael or of individuals, that he's going to encounter on the southern side of the altar of the Mizbeach. That's where he's going to put the blood on the base of the southern side. So what's the reason for that? It says that he's going to put the blood of the oila, and he's going to pour it on the base of the Mizbeach. That's the southern side. So the Brisa challenges and says, you say it means the southern base of the Mizbeach. Maybe it means the western base of the Mizbeach. Amr to say no. Learn that just as when he comes out of the Heichal, of the Beis Hamikdash, and it comes down the stairs, what does he encounter first? The western side. That western side has a base. So the western base is where he's going to encounter first and pour the blood there. So too, when anything that goes on the outer courtyard, the outer courtyard Mizbeach, he's coming up the ramp on the right side, going around, which is the south eastern side of the Mizbeach, comes up from south to north, walks around the Mizbeach, comes down the ramp on the southern side. So what's he encountering? The southwestern corner of the Mizbeach. That's what he's encountering when he comes down the ramp. So he's going to put it on the south because that's where he is. He's on the south. Wherever it's closest, you said Maravi, which is the western side. After he does him in a kevesh, so to coming down the ramp, whatever is closest. You said Duraimi, and that's the southern base. Tanya, we learned Rabbi Shmuel Maravi. Rabbi Shmuel says actually he's always going to put it on the western side. Rabbi Shimon Beichai Emer Zevazei say Duraimi. Then he always put it on the southern side. So the Gemara says, wait. Rabbi Shmuel says, look, it's very clear by Yom Kippur where it says that he's going to put it on the southern side, which is clear because it says he will put it on the base of the Mizbeach, which is at the opening of the Beis HaMikdash. What's the opening of the Beis HaMikdash? The western side. He's coming down from the Beis HaMikdash, down the stairs, encountering the Mizbeach, the western side of the Mizbeach, which is directly near the opening of the Beis HaMikdash. So that's clear on Yom Kippur, he's going to put it on the west side. And Rabbi Shmuel says, look, I understand when you come down the ramp, you're on the south side, but we're going to learn what's explicit, what's not explicit from what's clear and explicit in the Torah. In the Torah, it's explicit on Yom Kippur, it's the western side, Pesach HaYom by the opening of the Yom. So too over here, every other one is going to be on the west side as well. So we understand his opinion. Hello, Rabbi Shimon Beichai, my time. But Rabbi Shimon Beichai that says that you're going to put it on always on the southern side. Wait, but on Yom Kippur it says Asher Pesach HaYom that you're going to put it on the base of the Mizbeach, which is at the opening of the Beis Hamikdash. My time. So why over here does he say they put it on the southern side? Amar Ravashi, Kasava Pischa Bedar. So we've seen this machlokes before. Where was the altar, the outside Mizbeach, situated? Was it in the southern side of the courtyard? And so when you come out from the Beis Hamikdash, you're coming west to east, coming down the stairs to the right, to the southern side is where you're going to see the Mizbeach. And so you're going to encounter the west side of the Mizbeach, not the south side. Or do we say no? The Mizbeach was really farther north in the courtyard. And so when you come down the stairs, you're facing the Mizbeach. And if you come down the stairs on the southern side, coming out of the Holy of Holies and coming out on the southern side, and coming out of the southern side of the Mizbeach, down the stairs, you're going to be more towards the south. You're going to encounter the southwestern corner of the Mizbeach. And then you're right there at the south, so you're always going to put it on the south. Tana de Rabbi Shmuel, that Rabbi Shmuel's academy taught, like Rabbi Shimon Beichai, that you put it on the southern side. That one man pulled the other towards his opinion, meaning that Rabbi Shmuel's academy taught like Rabbi Shimon Beichai. Both the bloods, wherever it is, whether you pour it on the southern side of the Mizbeach or on the western side of the Mizbeach, you're always going to put the five. Yeah, no problem.
Okay,
yeah, we'll be another 5 minutes. Okay.
Yes.
Whether you pour it on the southern side or the western side, it always goes into the stream and it would wash out as fertilizer. So in our Mishnah it said they would sell it to the gardeners. This way they redeem the blood and no longer is sanctified, and then they can use it. Otherwise it's me'ila, it's misuse of hekdesh. Taner Rabbanan, so the Brisa taught Meir says even blood after it's been spritzed, there is me'ila, there is a prohibition of misuse of hekdesh. Rabbi Shimon, however, the Rabbi Shimon and the Chachamim, they say Ein mo'elim behem. No, so that's Rameir of Shimon, but the Chachamim say there's no me'ila with the blood. Now we turn to Nun Testament base 59b. Ad kaloi pligi elam midarbon. But both would agree this is only rabbinic me'ila. That it's not the Torah prohibition of me'ila where if you transgress you have to pay back 125% and bring the carbon. It's not a Torah prohibition. It's a rabbinic prohibition. Avol midaraisa imayilme, but midaraisa there's no me'ila. You don't have to pay the 125%. You just pay the principal amount, and that's it. Mananimi. How do we know this? Ama ula makra. So Ula said, it says in the pasuk, lachem shalachem yehi. The pasuk says, because the blood is the soul, and I have given it to you on the mizbeach to atone for the souls. The blood, because the blood is the soul. Now, this idea, it says the blood is the soul, and I have given it to you. Lachem is nesativ lachem. I've given it to you. Given it to you means that you were allowed to use it. It's yours. So therefore, you're allowed to use it. So on a Torah level, it can't be me'ila, misused. It's actually yours. It's ours. It's not sanctified in that way. The Ve'er Rabbi Shimon Tana in the Academy of Rabbi Shimon taught lechaper. He had a different teaching. It says lechaper, to atone. Lekapara nasativ v'lo me'ila. It's an atonement vehicle. It is not something that is sanctified where you would pay misusage if you misuse it. Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yochanan says, Amar Kra, it says in the pasuk, who benefesh chaper, it is lefanai kapara lefnei kapara ka'achei kapara. It is the way it was, just like before it was atoned, just like after it atones, it's not going to be me'ila, right? There's no me'ila after you do the mitzvah of something. You've done the mitzvah. The mitzvah is completed. There's no misuse of it anymore because it's already been done. The mitzvah has been done. So too, before the mitzvah has been done, also there's no me'ila. Just as like after you've done the mitzvah, there cannot be a prohibition of misuse. Misuse of what? The mitzvah has already been done. It's already a completed carbon. So too, even before you complete it, it's going to be done. Maybe the other way around. Just like before you've done the mitzvah, there is me'ila. So too, afterwards there's me'ila. So we'll end with this. So Gemara says, we never have something that you've done the mitzvah, it's complete, and there is me'ila. That's the basis. So therefore, afterwards, for sure, there's no me'ila. Before you spritzed it, also there's going to be no me'ila on the Torah level because the mitzvah, even though the mitzvah has not been done, because the Torah says, who? It is for you, ki adam hu benefesh chaper. It is it is always the same. Just as afterwards there's no me'ila, so too there's no me'ila now. And tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem will start with this last line, where the Gemara is going to say, wait, there are some things that even after the mitzvah is complete, such as the ash on the mizbeach, the mitzvah is complete. It's already ash, and yet there's trumas hadeshin, and we're going to see there's me'ila, misuse, even after it's completely burnt up. So how can you tell me, just as after the blood is spritzed, there's no me'ila in using the blood as fertilizer because the mitzvah has been done, so too beforehand, it's got to be that the mitzvah is, even before the mitzvah is done, there's no me'ila. Well, actually, we find some places that there are mitzvahs, things that are sanctified, the mitzvah is done, and there's me'ila. But the base the Gemara is going to stick with is that, no, that once a mitzvah is done, there's no me'ila left.
What time tomorrow?
Tomorrow, Shabbos is 15 minutes early. Yeah. So tomorrow it's at 6 o'clock.